Hi, I'm Sven Silburn. I'm a researcher at the Menzies School of Health Research in Darwin. The AEDI is a measure of how children are doing in terms of their readiness for learning at school. This measure should work in much the same way for Indigenous and non-Indigenous children. So to do that, we talked with Indigenous education leaders, Indigenous teachers, to assistant teachers in communities. One of the consistent things they told us was that it would be much better if teachers could do this jointly with an Indigenous person, sitting side by side and talking about each child. The teacher has specialist knowledge about teaching, and the Indigenous staff member has specialist knowledge about Indigenous children in their community.
Hey, hello.
Hi, coming down. We need to make a time to do the AEDI assessments. I think the principal's organised a relief teacher for Tuesday. Does that time suit you?
Yeah, but how long will it take?
Well, I think it's about 20 minutes per student, so we should be able to do 6 in the morning, 6 in the afternoon.
What exactly that we need to do?
Well, I've got this information booklet here, and I think we need to go through it, and then we'll get an idea of what we have to do for each student for their checklist. Gavanjan, now we're being asked to assess Wamut in the physical health and wellbeing domain. It's asking some questions here about Wamut's being ready to start school in the morning. Is Wamut coming to school hungry on a regular basis?
I know the family very well. They live in a crowded house, and he must have got ready too late and missed out on his breakfast program.
Gavanjan, we've got to do this next section now, language and cognitive skills, but he's only using a few words in English, so I'm not really sure what he's capable of in English, so it says to use his own language to assess him. And you've been doing that book, Maratana Rangi, Going to the Beach. I was just wondering how he's going with that text.
Wamut is doing really well using the text. He loves his book very well. He spends most of his time sitting in the corner reading books with kids. He can sequence the book, how to put the pictures in the right order.
So he's retelling the story?
He's retelling the story, yes, he is. He's slowly developing his language because he mostly uses Tuaya.
Oh, what's that?
Tuaya is the language that kids first learn in the community.
So how do you think he's going with his ability to retell the story?
Very good.
Let's continue on with Bangalijan's assessment, and we're looking at this area of social and emotional development. The social is the way the child interacts with others, and the emotional is the way the child feels about themselves and others and the world around them. Would you say this child is curious about the world? I'd say she's a very quiet child.
She's learning English, but it's the first time that she used English because of her growing up in homelands.
Can you think of any other situations? Because we went on the class excursion, that could be another learning situation.
She was with her grandmother. They caught a rock cod. She started asking her grandmother a couple of questions, and one of the questions she asked was whether the fish was irijaotoa. She felt more comfortable there because of the environment, probably. We're a little bit worried about her hearing because she's got pussy ears and she's having a little bit of difficulties hearing.
She might need to have her ears checked at the clinic, and I better put her down on that list to the learning support teacher to make sure she gets followed up with her hearing as well at the school.
So I hope in viewing this video you've had a chance to see how valuable it can be to do a joint assessment on Indigenous children. And by doing a joint assessment, I think you can see we have a much deeper knowledge of the cultural dimensions that may affect the rating of a child's behaviour. It helps the Indigenous staff member be able to confidently talk to the community about the AEDI. They'll know what it means, they'll be able to have a good idea of how it works for Indigenous children and how it can benefit what schools do to help children get a good start in life. So if you have any questions about how to do the AEDI assessments together, talk to each other, ask your principal, have a look at your instructional materials, and if you've got other questions you can always go to the AEDI website. I hope that in the process you learn a lot about your children and your ways of working together. Thank you.